Mabuhay, Kamustika, welcome. How are you? This is Bob from Love Beyond the Sea. How does your husband need to be loved? I'm going to be talking about some ways for women, Filipinas, any woman to love their husbands. I'll give you a link from marriagemissions.com. 100 ways that a woman can show love to her husband. In this video, I will talk about some of the ones that are important to me and how you might suggest this need to your wife. My intent is for the foreign husband to be able to look through this and highlight the things that he thinks his wife needs to know about him. I'm going to cover the ones that I need to express to my wife, so I'm not going to go over everything in this list. I think I did the first 37 ways, I think, in the first video. And so we've got 63, but I think we'll get done in plenty of time because I'm not going to cover every one. This is Higher Phil West Education as I desire to make marriage great again. This is more challenging for some men than for others, but I want to make it easy for you. It may have been written for women to use, but I'm going to turn it around so that the man makes the first move here. I think it is important that he be able to openly talk to his wife about what he needs her to do to show him love. It's all part of communication. Communicating is something very important. Please subscribe to Love Beyond the Sea for practical, honest help with being a loving husband to a Filipina or any woman. I am thrilled to be married to my amazing Isa through the ups and downs and frequently recommend a Filipina as the type of woman to look for. There will be likely things here I will learn from this list that I hadn't even thought about talking to my wife about. The main message here is to speak up. So let's pick up where we left off last time. This was 37. Again, I'm not going to do all of them. Help your husband to be the spiritual head at home without lording it over him. Now, that can be tricky. I have said things like, honey, you know I'm the head of this union and I'm responsible for God, before God, to take the best care of you. So please talk to me about something and allow me to, do something. An example would be if she wants to brush aside a health issue that I want her to get checked right away to prevent the possibility of this becoming more serious in the future. She might say it's too expensive or she'll be all right, but I tell her that I really need to make that decision about spending a lot of money for it, and I want to do that. The cost isn't important. It's that she is healthy as far as being the spiritual head of the home without lording it over her. I have done a video on what submission is from a wife to her husband. You can check that. Probably easiest way is to find it in the controversial collection playlist. But it says what submission is and what it isn't and what headship is and isn't. So that will help you very much with this point here. 38, reserve some energy for him so you're not so tired when he wants you sexually. And yes, he probably does, even if he's tired. I mean, we're not machines. We're not robots. But, we do, it is important to us on so many levels. So again, yes, good advice here. Reserve some energy for him. 39, don't expect him to do projects beyond his natural capabilities. I'll tell you what, we have a house. Now, I always lived in apartments all my life until I got married. And when we were married, we still lived in an apartment before we got this house, I don't know, 4 years ago, possibly, 5 years at most. And I cut the grass today, but I don't do a whole lot of fixing things. I think my wife prefers to do that. If she asked me to be the handyman or expected me to be the handyman in this relationship, that wouldn't work because I told her right away. She says, why didn't you never have a house? Well, because I never wanted a house and never wanted to fix a house. I'm not that attached to a house. But now that we're married and she grew up wanting to learn to fix things and take care of things, I just hand that over to her. If she can't fix it, then I guess we'll pay somebody to fix it. But the thing here is not expecting someone like me to do projects that I'm just not good at. I'm not a mechanical person. I'm not going to go in and figure out what's wrong with the car and then fix it. That's just not for me to do. 40, pray for him to enjoy God's best in life. I always say to my wife, hon, pray for me. I don't know how much she's praying for me. I just remind her, pray for me. I need it, you know. Or I might say once in a while when we've got some issue, something important to both of us, I'll say, have you been praying for me? It's just a reminder to her that I need her prayers. And yes, number 40 is a good point. And I pray for my wife. She needs to pray for me too. 42. By the way, leave comments here. I always forget to say that, but I assume you know that. Comments are always welcome. And liking the videos, subscribing, that also helps. And it'll help, these videos get out to more people as time goes by. 42. Brag about him to other people, in front of him, and when he's not there. I certainly do this for my wife. I admit sometimes I want her to tell me what she says about me to other people. 46. These are things that guys appreciate. Look into your husband's eyes when he talks to you. This makes him feel that you're interested. And a reference there to Clain. By the way, these 100 ways or tips, just like they were for a man how to love his wife, are from an anonymous source. And I'll try to list as many as I can in the description box, but I don't think there's room for all of them. So usually this happens like when she's on her phone. Sometimes the same can be said of me. It's possible to say, look at me, without sounding like a demand. Might take a little practice though. 48. Be his helpmate in whatever ways you sense he needs it. They must have been a Christian that wrote this list. The Bible says the wife is to be the helper of her husband. My wife certainly helps with the things around the house. My goodness. I mean, that's just, I always said, if I ever got married, if I ever got a house, I would have to marry somebody that didn't expect me to be a handyman. I'm not. That's just something she needs to know right away. Fortunately, she's more like that than I am. She likes to decorate and take care of the garden, and the inside and the outside looks so much better now. I think we make a good team, and she is my helper in other ways, and I do tell her that. It doesn't have to be anything mysterious. I just need her help. Okay. 51. When your husband is in a bad mood, give him time and space to recover. That probably goes both ways, doesn't it? When your husband is in a bad mood, give him time and space to recover. I'm a little more emotional than most, and so the words come out very easily. And so I kind of try to get over things faster by just getting it all out of my system. So I don't really need a lot of time to get over it. I just get it out. But still, it's telling me just move on is not necessarily a good thing, because I might want to get over things quickly, but I still need to get over them, in my time and in my way. 52, help him to finish his goals, hobbies, or education. Well, we had this kind of in the other series about ways a man can make his wife feel loved. Help him to finish his goals, hobbies, or education. I think that's a good idea. 57, thank him for things he's done around the house. It means a lot to men. I need her to appreciate what I do, and I need to hear her say it. Doing the laundry is one thing, but I think handling the financial affairs, including working with our financial advisor, is something I want her to appreciate, because it's on my mind a lot. As I mentioned earlier, I say to her that I hope she appreciates how much time I put into this. So, if you feel like you're not getting recognized for something, I don't see any problem with just politely saying that, I hope she appreciates, how you're handling a certain area. 59, make sure he agrees with everything important that you're planning to do. This is what the women's going to, or make sure that he agrees with everything that you're planning to do. Because if the wife is out doing things without consulting her husband, that's just not good. If she thinks he might be against it, they should talk about it. Maybe he is. Maybe he won't be. But just communicate. It's always best. We might like some surprises, but we don't like all surprises. 62, initiate sex periodically and respond more often. All you have to say is something like, sweetheart, I love making love to you, and if we don't do it for a certain period of time, I get cranky, but I also miss the closeness that it brings. We need to somehow make this more regular. Maybe each of you needs to sacrifice something that takes enough time that it interferes with your sex life. Um, and it's been said to me that the sex life that you have with your wife is a barometer of your relationship. And I think there's a lot of truth to that. There are times, instances, periods where maybe due to circumstances that you can't be as active, but those have to be pretty unusual. Even the Bible says, you know, your body belongs to each other. You're not to defraud each other, which means to deny each other sexual, I don't even want to call it favors. It's just literally, it's a debt that they owe to each other. So as busy and as tired as we can get, it's so important, especially for the woman, to remember, it's okay if she initiates. He might like that, and just to be more open to this. 64. Get to the point in your discussions. Spare him details unless he wants them. 70. Be kind and courteous with him. Don't be kinder to strangers than to him. Good point. 71. When things go wrong, instead of assessing blame, focus on how to do better. I do talk about that both once we have expressed our dissatisfaction with something, we need to think of solutions and try to, get over it quickly without holding grudges. That's a big thing. Don't hold grudges. Always be forgiving. 75. Hold his hand and snuggle up close to him at times, both at home and in public. That's a real winner. I like that. I've talked a lot with my wife about this, about PDA, public display of affection, and to her credit, she is doing this more because I tell her how important it is to me. And since it's important to me, she wants to oblige, but Filipinas often are not crazy about PDA. So, 77, let's jump up there. Tell him you love him more often. I really like to hear this. There are times I'll say to my wife, hon, I love you. And, might not be hinting that I want her to return those words, but I am. I want her to say, I love you too. And not mumble, I love you, but say, I love you. 79, sit with him while he's watching TV, even if the program doesn't interest you. See how simple this can be? 80, don't expect him to read your mind, despite your thinking he should. 82, check with him before you throw away his papers and stuff, whenever possible. I don't even like it if my wife moves things. It's like, where'd those pens go? I know I had my Sharpie up here, and then I got to dig through it, or my little pad of notes is nowhere to be found, or something is moved, or something gets thrown out. That's even worse. So yeah, that's a good point there. 83, put effort in to keep yourself in good shape, so he's especially proud to be with you. I know that comment right there will not sit well with some women, and we could make a whole video about this, I suppose. And by the way, I don't often try to make remarks to women about their husbands to help them and what they should do, because I feel like that's a woman's job to tell them this. I think they'll listen more. I'm mostly concerned about helping guys know how to, handle situations in marriage, because I want them to get married, not just have girlfriends. So the wife, keeping herself in good shape, so he's especially proud to be with you. You might say, well, why should he be proud of me? We're visual. You probably understand that by now, and it means something to him. You may not understand that or why it's so important, because you're not a man. But I think this point just has a lot of common sense in it. 87, visit his child at home with him. Visit his childhood home with him. Interesting little thing there. Um, I we're here in the town I grew up in, and our home, or where I grew up, is only not that far away, maybe 4 miles. I don't know. It's not, and there have been times we've been driving through the area, and I said, "Hon, let's stop here. This is our neighborhood. This is our block. This is where I used to play. This was my best friend growing up," and so on, and just see how it's changed since the '60s and '70s. But I like that that one. In fact, the last time we went to the Philippines, I wanted to see where my wife was from, which wasn't from Davao City, where she was when I married her. We had to drive a ways, and it doesn't look like it did back then, but I wanted to get a feel for it. I just wanted to see it. So I can understand this one. 89, pray for him. Kind of alluded to that earlier in this list of points from an anonymous person. 91, look your best. Talking about clothes now. Dress to honor and make him proud to be seen with you when you're out together. Well, that's kind of depend on each guy. Each guy, we're very visual. We all like certain things, certain hairstyles, certain lengths of hair, certain clothes, certain shoes, just whether it's a casual look or a more grungy look or a more, what do you call it? You're dressing up more, whatever he likes, even if it's not exactly your thing. I think it's good to honor him this way and make him proud to be seen with you. I mean, you may not understand that, and that's okay. I'm just saying I agree with this point 91. 92, support him when someone tries to put him down. Yes, be his best cheerleader. We like that support. 95, cheer his successes when it's related to business or other areas of everyday living. That's a good point, if he gets a raise, for example, be happy about that. He catches a mistake at work or something, he gets any kind of commendation, any kind of accomplishment, let him know that you're happy for him. Cheer his successes. 96, graciously teach him how to demonstrate his love for you. And I think the last series of those 100 ways a man can show love to his Filipino wife will help in that way, from the same author, as I give my thoughts on that in those videos. 97, give him coupons to redeem, maybe for a back scratch or a shoulder rub. I like touch. 98, buy him a gift certificate to his favorite lunch spot and put it in his wallet. 99, hide notes for him around the house where only he will find them. And number 100, thank him for just being himself. Leave your comments on this list. I'm just trying to be as practical as I can here on this channel, Love Beyond the Sea. The author is unknown for the list of 100 ways. I will put these in the description box, as many as I can. Find a way to fit it in if I can, and it'll be linked as well. Please look through this list for yourself, and I hope I have shown some ways to raise the issue in a way that expresses the affection you need. That doesn't mean that your wife will never do any of these things, rather that for the good of the relationship and a little stroking of your ego, it makes your efforts worthwhile to be the husband that she wants you to be, and for her to be the wife that you need to be. And these are just thoughts that this author thought made sense, and I agree with them. And some of these things I have told my love beyond the sea.